Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome back to the Touch My Soul podcast. Um, I am terribly, terribly sorry for taking as long as I have to make this episode. It's just a lot of things have been going on, a lot of work, a lot of just fixing things like kind of like around the house, just life. I mean, if you know, you know. um, and I literally just came back inside from cleaning out my car. For those of you who don't know, my car got like 2 inches of water in it, and because of that, it smelled up the whole car. The carpets were pretty uh, messed up, kind of, and stuff like that. So I just went in there. My dad was able to bring like this huge vacuum and huge like blower. So I vacuumed out like all the mats and everything and the rugs. And then after that, I'm letting one of the blowers sit right now. I'm gonna do like an hour on each side of my car just to get out all that stuff. But I hope that you guys are staying safe. I hope that everyone's all right. Family's okay. Friends are okay. Um, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my neighborhood was like in the beginning of all this. It was like super flooded, like super super flooded. Um, yeah, it was like really really bad, and we had never seen anything like this before or experienced it. Like it was crazy, and yeah, and sadly, I didn't park too close enough to the inside of my driveway, so my car, got the bad end of it. Everyone else's car was fine. My dad's truck was fine. My dad and I's BMW project car was fine because we had a cover over it. Um, but yeah, like, so everything is starting to work out now and stuff. So, everything is gonna be going well. But like I said, once again, I'm so terribly sorry for taking so long with this. But now that I finally have some time to just sit down and and really get back into it, I wanted to go ahead and do that. So we got some good topics for today. I've been working on just more of what I'm gonna do with this podcast, like what else I'm like what other things am I gonna integrate into it, um, and one thing that I'm always gonna say is that I definitely want to incorporate you guys, the audience. I feel like this platform, like I want to use it for good, and I want to use it to help and inspire and to just bring people together. So kind of like how I always say every episode, basically. You know, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, please comment on my under the video. DM me if you have my number, text me, call me, like anything, any way to contact me, just do it. You can do that. You can do like any topics, any conversations, anything that's on your mind, questions, like all that type of stuff. I want to bring you guys along in this in this whole thing and stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to bring you guys along for the ride. So if you, like I said, if you have any of that, please don't be afraid, and please just comment and let me know what you want me to talk about and stuff. I've had a couple people do it. So I'm actually, like I got topics that I'm able to talk about that people have already sent me in. Um, and of course, I know the whole corny YouTuber thing, but if you do enjoy these videos and if you do enjoy my work and everything, please do subscribe for more. Like, share, do all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get on with the episode. So, the first topic that we have today is feeling connected to fictional characters. Now, I ran across this because I was watching a video on YouTube, funny enough, um, and it was like a cigarettes after sex song. I think it was Apocalypse, yeah. And and it was a slowed version and everything. So if you know like those types of songs, and you know how people are in YouTube when they see these songs and stuff, you just see all the comment sections being just like so depressing, so uh, very much like, oh my god, I miss her. Why don't they like me? My life, like and obviously I get it. These songs evoke a lot of emotion, especially when they're slowed down. It's like if you it's like that whole conversation that the 400, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, the 432 um, hertz or something like that, the frequency of that, like it's apparently like the correct way that we should be listening because it feels so good, or something like something to that nature. But yeah, so you basically, slowing down these songs, it makes you like take in everything, I guess, a lot more, and it sounds obviously a lot more melodic and things like that. So I get it. Trust me, I know a lot of people are, feeling down and feeling, and obviously, that's why we got to be here for each other. And that's what I did like about the comments section. I did like how a lot of people were kind of being there for each other, commenting for each other, and just, But one of the comments that I found to be very interesting was somebody saying something about like like why do you think we feel so connected to these, to fictional characters, like in movies and games and books and stories, like, what do you think, brings us so close to them, whatever, something like that. And I thought about it, and there's definitely been a lot of times where I felt very connected to fictional characters. um and I'm gonna give my reason, but I actually wanted to read one of my friend's reasonings, that I send letters to back and forth. Her name is Christina. So if you're listening, hi Christina. But yeah, she's one of my neighbors, and we're really good friends and stuff. We send letters back and forth because we like that. We like the old school way of talking. We try to bring it like to, like back in the days, like. Um, some of you think of like the 1800s, but it's more just kind of like, it's personal letters and things like that. It's really nice to just connect like that. So I want to read her reasoning to you guys, and I think this was really, really, really cool. Um, I think, yeah. So she mentions like characters like in a book, for example. So I'm gonna read it to you guys. So she says, I think the reason we hold such deep connections to some fictional characters is because of the way they're presented slash described. I'll just talk about a book character in the general sense. The author gets to paint a picture of this person with words, highlighting all their strengths but also showing their flaws as human beings. We see their dreams and aspirations as well as the challenges they face along the way. And we open the cover and dive into the first few pages. A stranger becomes someone we know well. They become real. There are no pauses or breaks as there are in real life, so the process of getting to know them is expedited. Expe- wait, expedited? I'm so sorry. Okay, I can't read. As much as I can read good, I expedited. I'm sorry. Okay, a story that may take place over a couple of years is condensed into a mere 400 pages, more or less. I've always wondered how an author would describe. Oh, well, she's saying, yeah, she's always wondered how an author would describe her in a book. But yeah, so that's basically the like description of like what she thought of, and I think it was a really, really well thought out response. I think for the most part, it's basically true. You take all these things in a character. You know, pretty much like how she said, you take their flaws, their strengths, their emotions, the way they think, everything, and you kind of just you lay it all out on the line in, 300, 400 pages. So because of that, you know, you're taking in all these things, and sometimes, when people have these stories, or people make movies or these video games or whatever it might be, comics too, like, um, we like to relate to somebody or something, whether it be, an actual, like the main character, a side character, a theme, a mood, anything. We like to relate to it a lot because we feel more connected that way. And obviously, I think that's one of the main reasons why we connect so well with fictional characters, because creatives know how to connect to the people. You know what I'm saying? So they know that there's a lot of people out there that don't, that feel depressed, feel anxiety, feel, all these things, or sometimes they even have the badass people, like the people that are, like being super, good or whatever, like, if you get what I'm saying, like, they're just like some guys are like, man, I want to be like that guy. Like he's so cool and he drives a car. Like so we connect a lot. We connect a lot with these people, and I think it's really cool. I think it's a really awesome thing. Now, if you, I mean, that's basically, I guess you could say, my take on it. But for the most part, though, I think it's just like a really amazing thing, and this is why I do love like the arts, or anything that has to do with just being creative, because through one point in our life or another, we found a way, or we dealt with something that gave us inspiration, something from real life, or a dream or whatever it might be, and we kind of use that, and because our minds work very um, they work very strongly, I guess you could say. Not trying to say that like creatives are smarter than like I mean, but they have really great imagination. They have really great just like coming up with things, ideas, and everything. So because of that, they think of like, okay, we went. I dealt with this trauma, or I dealt with this certain thing going on, or whatever it might be, and now I have this idea to make this character, make this thing that can evoke that emotion, and or evoke that theme, or that feeling, and because of that, there's a lot of just connections being made with their audience, So people are going to watch a movie, and when they see the main character going through a lot of troubles and going through a lot of things, but then they make it out in the end, like for me, I can relate to that type of character with what I've dealt with, with being in depression, being in the lowest of the lows, just being everything you don't want to be, and then finally reaching out to the other side, and going on through and becoming that new evolved person. Like, so I would relate to a character like that. A lot of people would relate to someone who has lost another person, and they talk about it, and they feel, and they go through these things. So a lot of these movies will make you cry because they evoke such deep emotions, and it connects with you when you really feel like, like how like in movies, or in whatever game shows, like video games or TV shows or whatever, like when the ending of either that episode or the whole series or the game or the movie comes, and you just sit there in awe with your mouth just jaw dropped, like that's because you connected so much to that movie, or something within that movie, the plot even, and it's insane. Actually, I have a very, very good example of how connected I felt to a video game. I felt connected to a lot of video games because just of how beautifully they were made, the thought process, like all these different things, to incorporate in video games and stuff, like the stories, the twists, the turns, the action, whatever it might be. And so one game I definitely, or game series I want to talk about, is The Last of Us 2. For those of you who don't know, The Last of Us is basically a zombie, a third-person zombie shooter game. But it goes even more past that. It goes even into emotional trauma. It goes into betrayal, trust, friendship, family, like anything you can think of, like it goes through it. But the first game starts off with you're this guy named Joel, and I forgot. Oh man. Oh yeah. So I don't want to spoil anything, because if anyone listening here is a gamer and you do want to play it, please do yourself a humongous favor, buy a PlayStation, play both of them, The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us Part 2, and I promise you it'll change your life. It is so beautifully made. So I'm going to try to keep this very spoiler free as much as I can, but I'm going to try to explain why I felt connected and why there was such, like, for me, because I'm just going to tell you, at the end of part 2, you know, with having the stories connected together and then ending the thing. And I don't believe it's the end of the actual Last of Us story, but just the end of that you know part two. Like I sat there in silence just watching the credits, and I just went through so many things. So you start off as Joel in part one, and you go through like this crazy you go through this like this crazy just thing. Apparently this town, the town he's in is getting like overrun by zombies and all this crazy stuff. So like you go on your way and everything, and so years pass eventually from that day, and you're with this lady. I forgot her name. Please forgive me for not knowing her name, but you're with this woman who's kind of like, I guess, like your partner, like in crime, not in like not like in a bad way, but like she's just there to, I guess, help you out. And you come across Ellie at some point, who is one of the most beloved characters besides Joel and stuff. But Ellie is like the main character in part two. So when you get her, you start to develop this connection between Joel and Ellie. Um, so they go basically on this journey together, and they're trying to find their way. They're trying to figure out what to do, and basically their goal was to get to this hospital so they could find, because basically I could say this is not really a spoiler, um, but Ellie has the virus in her, but she is immune. So because of that, she cannot be overturned. She can't be turned or anything like that. Into a zombie. So she has like immunity. So there was this group called the Fireflies that were trying to like solve this like cure and everything, and and they needed her, but something happens. I don't want to say what, but it ends the first game. Second game goes on, and now you are playing as Ellie. Now the thing is that pretty much if I say anything too much into part two, it's all spoilers in a way. So, but just to give you, I guess, a fair, like I guess I'll tell you what the box art told me for part two before I started playing, which is basically Ellie goes, like, just to sum it up, Ellie goes on a mission to find those who wronged her, and to get revenge. So that's her journey and another person's journey, which I'm not going to obviously say either. So it goes through a lot of these crazy, emotional things, because these characters connect, and like I said, when they all deal with loss, betrayal, they tell their stories to each other and all these things. Like, it's so, like it's real people. Even though it's a game, these are real people that are just trying to survive day to day. But sometimes it gets very exhausting. It gets very emotionally tolling on you. It does damage to your mind, and so a lot of people felt so connected, and I mean me especially. Like, I felt connected because they're pushing through the hardest of times and trying to figure out these things, but somehow through it all, they find the beauty within a lot of things too. They come across a lot of beautiful moments, a lot of beautiful things like that you can interact with. There's a lot of crazy times. Trust me, there is, but there's a lot of there's a lot of beautiful moments too that very much so make you want to connect to them. And just pretty much at the end, of part two, you've gone on this and like intense journey, and you're just like, oh my god, like what just happened? Like it's so crazy. It's really really a phenomenal game. Probably one of the best game series that I have ever played. Period. So yeah, like that's definitely one thing I can definitely say without a doubt. Um, that it happened. It's a really 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 phenomenal game. So I guess since we're just still on the topic, so I want to hear what you guys think about this. I want to hear what any characters or any, anything like that that you felt very, emotionally connected to, or just any way, any fictional characters, like please tell me about it. I want to hear these stories, because it's a very interesting topic, that somehow, sometimes that we relate more to these characters more than we do a lot of people in our own lives. Um, so, definitely tell me about, your experiences with that, whether it be, like I said, movies, TV shows, video games, stories, comics, whatever it might be, any fictional work. Just, tell me your stories about it. Um, so on to the next topic. We have how to work on yourself when you're feeling down. Um, I don't know how I really just came. I decided to come up with this because, with the times that we're going through, with the virus and a lot of other things, you know, a lot of people are very depressed. A lot of people are very anxious. They're worried. They're scared. A lot of things are going on right now. So, of course, I'm sending all my love and prayers to everyone that is going through a tough time. I hope you feel better. I hope that you're doing the best that you can. And if you're listening to this podcast too, like I said, this is something for you to use as a detox, to use as an escape from the world, just to, listen to these conversations and, maybe find some connection with it, and just like I said, just to let go of everything else for the time being. Um, so, so I know I've kind of already discussed how I went through depression basically, but just to sum it up, if you haven't heard already, Hurricane Irma, I was just stuck in the house for way too long, and I just got in my head so much, and I started to just take everything very personal. I took I started just to look back on a lot of things, and I felt terrible about it. Just like how let people like use me, be the bad end of the jokes, all that type of stuff. And then, I started asking myself these questions. I, asked myself, why am I letting this happen? Why do I let people do this? And I answered it, and I was able to find a way out. And it wasn't just an easy process. It took a very long time. Um, so, so I guess, just talking from personal experience on how I worked on myself when I'm feeling down, and because I still have days where I feel down sometimes, and we all do. We're human. That's one thing I want you guys to remember, is that we're all human. So if you have a day that you're feeling down out of the week, or or 2 days or a couple of days, it is okay. Don't ever feel like because you're sad it's the end all be all. Like we all have our days, and it's okay. Because the next day is another beautiful day to be great, to try something new, and to start over again. So, um, with how I work on myself, one thing that I really love to do is I love to sit down and just play music that I feel is very relatable to what I'm feeling. Um, so if I'm feeling, if I'm reflecting on like past love or anything like that, then I'm gonna play some, I'm gonna play some Cigarettes After Sex. If you know, you know. um, and so like something like that. If I'm feeling very angry or upset, I try to listen to. I try to go through the opposite of that. Even though I said, I try to listen to things that I can relate to. I try to go through the opposite, and I listen to something relaxing and calm. So I'll put on some soundscapes. I'll put on just some like chill, like hip hop beats, like the lo-fi beats and stuff. Just something to kind of get me toned down and relaxed and everything. Um, and obviously, if I'm feeling happy, I'm gonna just put like whatever music. But sometimes even listening to these happy songs whenever I am down or feeling, not the best, it does bring me back up, because there's just some songs for me that I feel have these drums that are so insanely good and beautiful that it makes me want to dance. like like sometimes I'm just here in the house and I'm just dancing by myself because I just jam out to these songs. And sometimes I have I have like just times like that where I need to be alone, and I gotta just have my music on, and I just gotta chill out and just have a good time with it. But in the sense of just not speaking on me now. In the bigger picture, I think one thing's for sure is that one thing that has definitely helped me. Um, I remember I did this before once, and I've done it a couple times actually. But writing out your emotions. This is something that I believe has been proven to help you get out your emotions and just to understand yourself better because when you have it in your head, you think about it a certain way. But when you transfer it onto paper or on text or on whatever it might be, it changes differently. Like, I mean, maybe that's just me, but like I see it as like you know we like how it holds up in your head is way different than how it holds up on paper or whatever. So when you're writing these emotions down, just let yourself go. Write whatever you feel has to be wrote. Just get every emotion out there however you see it fit. Don't let people tell you how to feel about certain things or whatever. Something that I've seen a lot of when it comes to feeling down is that people are gonna always try to judge you for what you're going through, I guess. So one thing that like it was like a post or whatever. It was like don't like feel however you feel about a problem. No problem is ever too small for someone because how you see a problem is not the same as someone else seeing that problem. So don't judge people and think that you can oh well, they're sad about losing a shirt or losing whatever or this and that. It can be something as small as that, but you never know if someone had such an emotional connection to that shirt that maybe they got it, let's say at a concert, they got it at their favorite store, they got it on a really nice day, they something like that. You got to really consider these things when people are going through these bit of tough times, whatever the case might be. um, so you know so back to just like talking about how to actually work on yourself. So number one is writing your emotions out. I'm just basically going to throw out different options that you can try. You could try all of these, you could try just one or two or more, however you see fit if you are feeling down. I would definitely say write your emotions on paper, especially paper, because it's more personal, kind of like how the letters are for me and my friend. Or just typing it out, on a Word document or on your notes on your phone or whatever. So that's number one. I would definitely say that number two would probably have to be just getting outside. I found for me, just walking outside at night sometimes, or even during the day. You walk at your local park, or I guess we could kind of tie this together hand in hand. Going for a drive. Um, Both of these, for me, have worked a good amount, and it's very therapeutic. Whenever, let's say, I go walk to the park, I take my phone, my headphones, and I walk. I walk, and I put on some good music that I like. And if I need to just clear out my mind or my thoughts or whatever, I do that, and I enjoy the day. You take in that beautiful air, um, and you just you appreciate nature. Nature is a very special thing, and I really do hope that people can find a way to connect to it one way or another, because like I said before, it's very therapeutic. It's very nice and relaxing, and so definitely do try going for a walk. Go, like I said, walk at your local park, walk in your neighborhood, walk around, you know, anywhere. I wouldn't really say go to like a mall or go to any shopping type of place, because remember, you kind of want to be with yourself, right? Unless you do need other people to, like if you need just like a friend or something to be with at the time being. I've had, people that I go to sometimes for whenever I was feeling down or whenever I was dealing with something crazy. Um, But I wouldn't recommend really going to a mall or a place with a lot of people, because then, if you're feeling down, let's say about yourself, you're going to feel like people are judging you. You're going to look at, all these like clothes, or you're going to look at all these things and be like, oh, I wish I could have that, or, and then it's going to bring you down a lot more. So try to find a place where it's very relaxing, very just open, very just, like I said, therapeutic. Um, so and then kind of tying it in together with the drive, I've gone out for drives plenty of times. Sometimes you just gotta ride the highway. You gotta ride the highway, or just a very long strip of road. Just go down and just cruise. Play your music or play nothing at all, and be with yourself. You're in your car, you're by yourself, and just be with yourself. Understand your emotions. Talk to yourself if you need to. There's nothing wrong, which I'll kind of throw that into transitioning into a third thing you can do is talking to yourself. As much as it sounds crazy and insane, I do it a lot. I do it. I mean, technically, I kind of am right now, but but I am. I'm talking to you guys. But talking to yourself is actually, I think, something very important that a lot more people should be doing, because when you talk with yourself, you kind of see what your conscious is thinking and your mind is thinking, and then you kind of reason with yourself. So you have two people there technically. It's like you have your conscience and your mind, and then you just have your human self. It's like the ego and then the you. So talk about it. Just start talking. Like if you're by yourself, if you wherever you have to go to feel comfortable enough to talk by yourself, talk to yourself, by yourself, find a place to do it and just do it. Like for another, once again, when I'm here home alone, I, if I'm just getting thoughts, creating whatever, I tend to talk to myself. So I'm like, oh, like, well, like, what would you think about this type of idea? Or what would you think about this? Or how do you feel about this thing going on, whatever. And then I talk to myself about it, like, oh, well, damn, it's pretty interesting. Or, oh, I don't like that, or whatever, So you just get things out there. Like I said, a lot of these things are trying to not keep it inside. You want to try your best to get as much emotions, feelings, thoughts out of your, I guess you could say, out of your body. Because when you're talking, it's like you're exhaling oxygen. So think about it like that. Think about it as when you're talking, when you're getting these things out, you're getting it out of your system. Same thing with just like I said, with writing down your emotions, and your thoughts. Like it's getting on paper, you're taking it off of you. And when you see it like that, when you find that little connection and you kind of think about it like that, it does really work a lot. It does work like a lot better. But just connect with yourself. A lot of people gotta really connect with their inner self and find what works best for them. Like I said, whether it be talking to yourself and just, or whether it be writing down your emotions and thoughts, listening to, certain types of music, whatever it might be, just get it out there. Don't keep it held inside, because if you do, everything is going to boil over at some point, one way or another. You think, it's, this isn't going to affect me. This isn't going to hurt me or whatever, Sometimes you have to deal with the hurt. And I think that's a reason I get, or thing number 4. Excuse me. You have to thing number 4, you could try is to grieve. If you're feeling down, you feel like crying, cry. It is okay. Doesn't matter if you are a woman or a man or whoever, cry. It is okay, I promise you. And you will feel so much better when you get everything out. Like I said, once again, you're getting your emotions out, you're getting all these things. Kind of think about it like toxins, I guess you could say. So, for example, like when you get a massage, they always tell you afterwards to drink a lot of water because you want to flush out the toxins in your body. Think about it like that when you're crying. Think about it like that you're getting toxins out of your body, out of your system. Those bad emotions, those bad feelings, vibes, whatever it might be. Just get it out. Um, so cry if you need to, yell if you need to. No, it's a crazy one, but sometimes you just gotta yell. You just gotta get it out. Um, you know, and when you do that, it's very much so. It feels a lot better. You feel just more better about it. And you still may feel kind of down, but you are going to have some relief. That I know for a fact. Can definitely help you out and stuff. Now I know a lot of people do resort to using alcohol, drugs, um, whatever. So I guess in its own separate topic, you know, I guess so. My stance on it all, right, is that if you use it in moderation, number one, I believe that if you know how to control it, and you're not letting it control you, I believe that it's okay. So I'm mainly just talking about weed, or because that seems like it's like the most popular drug, I guess you could say, that you could use. I know personally a lot of people that use it. I know adults. I know people my age. I know people in between, everywhere you could think of, even younger than me. Funny enough, like, but a lot of people use drugs and weed, and obviously I don't condone the use of drugs, but I do know some people that have had anxiety, that have had um, you know just things, and obviously there is medical grade weed, or marijuana, as I like to call it, as they like to call it. So so I believe obviously, like, I'm never going, like, I'm a straight edge person. If you don't know what straight edge means, it's basically you don't ever touch drugs, you don't ever touch alcohol. You're just very, you stay away from that as much as possible. I know there's more into that than just that, but that's in that aspect. That's where I identify, um, just as a straight edge person. So, you know, but so I'm not condoning the use of it, but like I said, I do know some people that have used it because they don't have another way, and obviously for those people, I do hope that they could find another way eventually at some point in their life, because you don't want to rely, like, the way I like to say it is, you don't want to rely on a drug to make you feel happy, to make you feel something, whatever. You want to obviously work on yourself, and that's what this topic is about. So you want to just find different things that you can connect with at some point, one way or another, or just do or know that you can use to help you out, to to become a better person, just to help yourself out, to get in a better situation. You don't want to have to rely on something to make you feel happy, to make you feel something, but like I said, I know that there's a lot of people, and I don't judge. I don't judge people, because I'm not one to judge. I'm not God. I'm not, I am not the best person in the world either, so, but, so I say, for those people out there, if you are listening, everything in moderation, and just, I think you'll be okay. Um, but just kind of applying that, and putting all those things that you can do all together on working with yourself. I think um, it's kind of like you try things, and there's so many more different things out there that you can do, so many more things. So do your research, search it up, find little things, tips and tricks that you can do to help yourself. um, and for the most part, just find a plan that works for you. It can be whatever, and just, but if it helps you to feel better, to feel happy, to feel relieved, okay, do it. I definitely encourage finding ways to help yourself in times of trouble, because, like I said, with everything going on right now, um, with just, like I said, life putting a lot of emotional tolls, or physical tolls. Sometimes you're overworked. Sometimes you work so much and you just are very exhausted, to the point where, like, you just don't feel like doing anything. And it happens, and sometimes you just gotta relax too, man. And listen, if you have the money, Um, I definitely do encourage this too. Get a massage, go to a chiropractor, go to a spa, and relax. That like because kind of like how I mentioned before, when you do get a massage, you are clearing toxins out of your body from your muscles, um, from things like that. Especially too when you go to the wait, yeah, when you get a massage, when you go to the chiropractor, I'm pretty sure you do clear out toxins too from cracking, popping, the bones or cracking bones. What, not cracking bones, but you get what I'm saying. Like, because it's air sockets or air bubbles. I guess you could say that you pop whenever they. So that releases toxins too. So sometimes you just need that, like that tune up. I know when I went to the chiropractor, I went like 3 times or so. Um, this amazing guy that he actually works uh, in my old school at a Heritage. His name is Steven, and he's a really funny guy. He talks a lot during the whole process, but he knows what he's doing. And when he was working on my back and stuff like that, like he would just lift my feet up just a tiny bit, and he could see the I guess you'd say disalignment, and he'd get right to it. He could find the exact spot, the exact thing. And when I got out of there, I felt amazing. I felt awesome. It was a really good feeling. So I definitely do recommend the chiropractor. It's not as scary as you think. For a lot of people that think like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Like, oh, they're cracking, all this stuff. I told Steven, I'm like, listen, I don't want you to crack my neck. If you don't have to do it, please do not do it, because I am afraid. Like, you could be very honest and straightforward, and that, they're gonna listen to, he said, don't worry, I'm not gonna touch it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, so chiropractor is number one. Number two is getting a massage. Now, massage obviously is very relaxing, very nice. Speaking of massage, I actually have I have a candle lit up right now. Yes, I became one of those people that like candles. So it's from Bath and Body Works, and it's called Vampire Blood. Oh my God, I sound like so basic, but but it did smell very very good. It's like a very fresh smell, and so I do recommend go to Bath. This is not a shameless plug. This isn't a sponsorship. It would be pretty cool, but no, it's not. But get a candle too. There's a lot of things that you can do, but even getting a candle is nice too, just to get the nice smell. And there's actually some good ones there that I've seen that I'm gonna invest in. That they're like stress relief, sleep, energy, whatever. Like there's a lot of cool ones there, and just a lot of other cool smells. So, anyways, back onto the main point. Um, so getting a massage is very, very relaxing. Like me, I love massages, and I always will forever. um, I remember I used to get them. My mom was very fortunate enough to be able to have this lady come over her house. She was an older lady. She was an older Hispanic lady. I forgot where she was from, but she was very sweet, very kind. And my mom would hook me up sometimes for me to get a massage. So when I did, like just the feeling of like just some, like the hands on on your back muscles, and um, and just being able to just feel like just the relax. It's just like I can't even describe it more than just it's so relaxing and so therapeutic. And like I said, and you get the toxins out of your body too in that same way. Um, and well, I believe there's another thing that I was gonna mention. I don't know if I just forgot it or not. I said chiropractor. Uh, I said massage. Um, okay, because I was mentioning like if you have the money to do these things. Or a spa. There we go. That was the final one. A spa, which does, I guess you could say, go hand in hand with the massage. But there's places where you can just like lay on a little like stone bed that's like heated, and you can relax. You could go into places where you inhale like a certain like smell, and like it helps you like just it gives you that sense of like well-being and things like that. Saunas, I highly recommend saunas. They're very very good for you. They're very nice. They're very relaxing. And just any type of spa, like go to a spa. Like take a day for yourself, and like how like girls would do like the whole like girls day thing where they go shopping, they'll go to the spa together. Like I think guys need to normalize that too, like as much as possible. I'm saying that out there. I'm just putting it out there for y'all. Like normalize guys just going to a spa and just like doing their own thing and vibing out and getting better for themselves. Like like it's okay. Like you can take care. Like as guys, we got to learn how to take care of ourselves more, man. I know a lot of people are getting into more like doing the face masks and all that type. Like do that too. Like take care of yourself. Take care of yourself physically, emotionally, and I promise you, if you are feeling down, you will feel so much better when you try all these things and so much more as well. Um, when it comes to just taking care of yourself. Um, so we have a little side note here. I guess I want to call these little mentions side notes. Um, but I found something once again to be very cool. I think it was on an Instagram post, and I found something where it said, or no, it was in no, forgive me, it was in a YouTube video, and it was I think for a very old song. Yeah, it was in a song in BioShock Infinite, and if you don't know that game, it's another amazing game, one of my favorite games of all time. But it has an old soundtrack to it. I'm not gonna get into the whole explanation because it's a lot, and it's a lot of like different dimensions and everything, and it's really really insane. But um, they have a soundtrack that it's more leaning towards the songs of the 1920s, 30s. Um, so they had one of their songs playing that they had that the game the creators had created themselves, and um, and someone in the comment section was like, it's like really beautiful and like a really great like cool thing to think about. Like what is now old wasn't old at some point, right? So sit on that for a second and drink some water. So think about that. Obviously, it's a very obvious statement that you can make, but when you go into it, past the surface level of that thought, when you look at it, it's like, whoa, like this is really really interesting. Like, um, you know, for people back then, this was like, oh my god, like, some of the music back then was like, oh my god, like that new, like if we're going back in like to the 80s, like, oh my god, the new, like just throwing a random name out there. The new Metallica album came out, the new Pink Floyd album came out, or, Phil Collins is gonna drop a new single, or Laura Branigan is gonna, like, what I'm saying, like just all these different songs and music or whatever it might be, or even just innovations, technology, things like that. When they were, at the time being presented, this was brand new stuff. This was really cool, and they were like, "Oh my god, like this is amazing," and they're really excited. And now we would look back on a lot of these songs, and I know that kind of like how lo-fi beats are very much in old school, like very old, like oldies, as I like to call them, oldies being put with reverb, slowed down, changed into hip hop beats, like, I guess you could say sampling, but a lot of these oldies are very popular again because so many people for some reason connect with these songs, and they feel very happy when they hear these songs. So it's actually a really cool thing to think about. And so what we think is new for us right now, imagine in 10 years, or imagine in 20, 30, 50, all these years, like people are gonna look back like, wow, like this music that came out in 2020 was super cool, and they're gonna be like in 2050 or something, or 2040, and it's gonna be like, whoa, like, oh my god, and we're gonna look back on that and think like, oh my god, wow, this was like the oldies for us. So it's a really cool thought to think about, and I wanted to throw that in there just so you guys can think about how you see that as well. And then the final topic that we have for today is high school discovery. Now, most of you listening are in high school. or were in high school, like me. um, so high school in the most basically in the most simple, true, and like definition of what I believe high school is like the I'm trying to think of how to say it because there's a lot of different ways I can say it. I want to say it's like the create your character for the main story part of your life. Like if you know the video games that like where you create your character, you put all these different skill like in RPG games, you know, you put your skill sets, you put, you know, you customize the body or whatever. It's basically those 4 years are like that. Um, and it's when you I think finding yourself in high school is like prime time because remember you know and I don't want you know people to think that it's not okay to find yourself after high school because there's a lot of people that still don't know what they want to do yet or they're not you know they're not sure of themselves they're you know so but why I say it's prime time is because those 4 years are definitely going to be one of the most vital 4 years of your life that you're ever going to have. And emphasis on one of the most. It's not the most, but it is one of the most important times of your life. You start to just figure out your friends, you know, you start to figure out who you are, you know, you're finding yourself, you're finding your way. And I can definitely, you know, attest to this because of everything that I went through in high school, you know. I remember I had started off with a friend group. It was a pretty big friend group. We were all super cool. We were super tight. It was really great. And then slowly but surely throughout the years, we started to kind of like drop out. And to the point where in my senior year, I only had two friends. Like that I had more than two friends, but I had two friends that I really stayed and clicked with for most of the time. So shout out to you, Nina, and shout out to you, Caitlin, if you're listening. Hi, I miss you guys. So, you know, and like I said, you know, and I had other friends too. Like shout out to you, Ahmad. Shout out to Zeev. Shout out to all you real ones out there that were with me for senior year and stuff. But you know, from freshman to senior year, I had changed drastically. One reason being changing the friend groups and going through depression and just learning more about life and learning more about, you know, just more self-discovery and me doing that on my own end. And, you know, so it's, I think, you know, you know, I know obviously right now you can't really have the full high school experience or anyone who is still in high school. You know, you're stuck doing online classes mostly, or if you do go in person, you know, or you alternate. But what, you know, if you have that in school high school experience, really analyze everything that happens, the people you meet, the people you talk to, the crushes you may have, or just things that happen. You know, a lot of people start experimenting, a lot of people start to just dive into many different things. So you're gonna figure out a lot of things, and I think it does kind of set you up for the real world, because sometimes you're gonna have to work with people you don't want to work with. Sometimes you're gonna have to deal with, you know, like people, see people that you don't want to see, and you know it gets pretty, you know, annoying and everything and stuff, but it does prepare you for the fact that you're going to have to deal with all of this in the future. So, you know, obviously avoid the situations that you don't want to deal with, you know, and things like that. But for the most part, just really analyze everything that you deal with, the people, all that, you know, the interactions, just all that stuff, and find who you are. Discover yourself within high school. Try your best, you know, because you're not always going to figure it out in high school, and that's okay, like I said. But try your best and just make the right friends, do the right things, experiment in the right ways if you can. um, you know, but definitely just just try everything out. I know, like I said, just speaking, more on me, I I had, made a lot of great friends. A lot of, one of my friends is literally one of my closest friends ever that told me to start this podcast. So look at that. If I would have never met her, I would have never had that jump start in me to start this podcast. So, you know, thank you, Adelina. I met Marley. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of great people. I've reconnected with a lot of people in high school, people that I didn't talk to too much before. You know, and just, I really gotta thank being at Heritage for really evolving me into who I am today, because I saw things that I probably wasn't ever supposed to see in life. And what I mean by that is because of the fact that my dad made a sacrifice of, taking less pay in the beginning for me to go there for free. If you don't know now, you know that is the story of how I got into the school, actually. So, you know, I saw houses that were beautiful and gorgeous. Like, I've been in a penthouse before. Like, I've seen a lot of designer things. I've been in some cool cars. Like, it's definitely been quite the experience. And a lot of it has made me appreciate what I have and what I don't have. It's made me want to work hard to be, a better person and to do good so I can, afford those luxuries and things like that in life. Because, I do like the nice things in life. And Heritage did definitely bring that out of me too, because, most of the people that go there do have money. So, when you see a lot of these nice things, you're like, yeah, man, this is really cool. Like, I would love to have that one day, so, it puts that drive in you to work, because, nothing is a greater of feeling. When you work, you get that check, it's in your name, and you can do with that money with what you want with that money. Not saying obviously just spend it all on junk, but to pay for your gas, to pay for your food, to pay for, like I said, to treat yourself, a couple times here and there, whatever, or to save up, for that really big thing that you want. Actually, right now, basically, like I rebooted my Xbox. I rebooted my PlayStation, so everything's cleared out. I sold my Xbox to my dad's girlfriend because she wants to play like UFC with him, and then my PS4. I am trying to sell it. So I don't know by the time if anyone hears this, I don't know if they're gonna be really interested in buying it, but I'm probably just gonna trade it into the GameStop, the one that I work at, and then I'm trying my best to buy a PS5, PlayStation 5. And if I have to, because I wanted to switch it up because I had an Xbox first, but if I have to get Xbox, it's okay too, no big deal. But besides the point, like, saving up your money for something that you want is really nice too. So, going back in again to just the main topic, finding yourself in high school is a very, very crazy experience. You go, like I said, you deal with a lot of crazy things, a lot of different people, all that type of stuff. But analyze everything, like I said, and just see how things were meant to shape itself for you. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I maybe want to just go over again. So I did want to incorporate like a song of the week type of thing, or a song of the day, or just a song at the end of each podcast that I've really been feeling and just enjoying. So maybe I can put you guys on to new music. So one song for me that I've been listening to a lot actually comes from my favorite. Well, okay, it's by Johnny Cash. It's called "The Rusty Cage." It's his cover of that song by Soundgarden originally, and it was integrated into the Mob of the Dead, Black Ops 2 Zombies map. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. It's fine. But if you watch the trailer, that song gets played. And it was a really, really great song, and I finally figured out what it was, and I've just been listening to it. It's really upbeat. It's very, it has that badass vibe to it. So I've really been enjoying that song. So hopefully, um, you guys could enjoy it too. But yeah, I'm gonna end the episode here. Once again, sorry for the huge delay in releasing this episode. I feel terrible about it, but I finally got the time to do it and everything, so I'm very grateful for that. Um, I basically have episode 4 ready to start, so I will get to that very soon, and I probably will give some time just for everyone to take in this episode and stuff, and then I'm gonna do it. But I do have all the topics and everything down, and in episode 4 is mostly a an episode filled with questions and topics of people, things that they wanted me to talk about and all type of stuff. So you're gonna see how it's gonna play in a lot more with bringing in you guys, the audience, into it. But yeah, thank you so much again for listening. Like I said, if you do enjoy these episodes and you enjoy what's being talked about and just the content in general, please do subscribe, leave a like, comment. Like I said, topics, conversations, questions, anything at all. Please do comment it. Text me, call me, DM me, let me know. And if there's anything that I can improve on too, like please let me know. There is only so much I could do just for the time being with what I'm working with, but if there is anything that I can improve or you want to see more of or less of or whatever, let me know too. I'm open to all suggestions. And yeah, so thank you so much again, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.